Hey yo, it's your boy Chyke Investing. What's good, gang? Alright, today we out here with another video on my best Forex strategy ever. Right? This is just an extension. Honestly, every video I always talk about my best Forex strategy. That other video I made kind of just detailed it in plain sight so that y'all can see what the exact steps are. But this video is just a further extension, giving you more examples of how we can make bands in the Forex market. All right, before we continue on this video, I'd like to tell you two things. The first thing is, like the video, man. Please, you know, for the boy. The reason why I'm asking you to like the video is because in 2021, we're evolving. There's an evolutionary process that's happening. Go check the YouTube banner on my page. That's the proof. I'm serious about this. I want to evolve. I even made a whole YouTube banner about evolving in 21. It took me like 5-10 minutes. You know how long that is? I could have been like doing something so important. Well, actually, this is important. But I could have been doing something else. That's a long time. That's like 5 times 10. You know, it was 5 times 60, 10 times 6. That's 600 seconds, man. It's a bloody long time. So, you know, like the video, man. Even if you know, especially if you end up liking this video, if you actually like the content, why not like the video? Tell me, like, physically show me you like the video. And then even if you don't like the video, but you still want to see me evolve in 2021, you want to help your boy out because you're a good person. I look inside your heart. I know you're a good person. So just like the video, man, and then subscribe and hit the notification bell next to it so you can get notified when these videos come out. Appreciate y'all. All right, here's the next thing I wanted to say. Don't call me Chyke, but you can call me Chyke Investing. You know what I'm saying? Only my family and my siblings and my wife can call me Chyke only. Everybody else calls me Chyke Investing. Let's go. All right, let's move in. So EURUSD is what we'll be analyzing today. But I want to start this video by talking about the Fibonacci retracement tool. Right now, a lot of people have been asking me about what my setup is, what numbers do I use, or how do you even create a Fibonacci tool. So let's start from scratch. Okay, so you come onto TradingView, third step right here, and it probably won't be the first thing here. It'll probably be this pitchfork, which I have no idea what this does. You know, and you click on Fib retracement. Okay. You want to drag it out a little bit just so you can see what's going on. Then you want to take one of these circles, double tap on it, or right click on it, or you know, whatever device you have. Press settings, and then you want to make sure that you change your layout to only show the 0, the 0.62, the 0.0705, the 0.79, the 1, negative 1. Anyway, why am I even saying this out loud? Just screenshot this and then go ahead and put these numbers in. Make sure that these are the only things showing. You're gonna like check mark them next to it to be able to see which ones that you really want to show. Then you can go ahead and change the colors that you want to show in it. I might actually go ahead and change 0 to red just because it's like stop loss and makes me feel a little sad. Then I might go ahead and change negative, you know, 0.5 to maybe like this kind of green, and then change negative 1 to like this kind of green, and then like, oh my gosh, sorry, negative 1.5 to like this green, and then negative 2, just leave it like this green. Okay, so that the more green it gets, you know, the more money I'm making. That's kind of what it shows me. Maybe I'll make this progressively red. Let's make this like super red. Like it's just a very, very dark situation going on. Let's make this neutral because that's our entry point. Actually, no, we'll just keep this regular red, and we'll just leave these as they were because these could all be points of entry, technically. Oh, we didn't even make this green, so let's make that a green as well. Oh, well, this is the okay. I capped. This is our that should be black. This is our actual stop loss. My bad. Okay. That looks like that. That's pretty all right. That's pretty good. I'm a creative, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're evolving in 2021. All right, let's get straight into it, right? So in OTE, it's all about OTE stands for optimal time trade entry, or optimal trade entry, optimal timed entry, whatever you want to call it. And the reason why it's called that is because there's a certain level it needs to enter and at a certain time. Okay, so the times are, in the London session it's between 1 to 5 a.m. and in the New York session it's between 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. and this is EST. This is all in EST, so you can change it to your respective time zone based off the EST. Okay, Eastern Central Time Zone, or Eastern Time Zone, if that's what you're looking for. All right, so these are the key levels. So we've discussed the time which you actually enter the trade, not the time when you do the analysis. Those can be two separate things, right? You can do the analysis within those times, or you can do the analysis before the time, but you can't actually enter into a trade until it's within that time, because that's the reason why it's those times, because that's when the banks really start to move. When the traders just got up, they've had their coffee, they've had their espresso shots, they just entered into the bank, they're ready to trade, and they're making things move. All right, so after during those times is when you want to enter the trade. Here are the exact levels that the currency pair needs to retrace to in order for it to be an optimal entry. All right, so for example, let's say it's 7:30 a.m. and things are going like this, right? And then it moves and retraces. Let's say this is the 8:30 mark, right? And let's say this is 11 a.m. and it retraces. You gotta wait until it retraces within that time frame all the way to the 0.62 level at least, and then it takes off, right? This is exactly where you enter the trade, right? Some people can also choose to enter all the way into the 0.705 spot before they trade. This is actually the sweet spot according to ICT. By the way, I just want to say quickly a disclaimer that I did not come up with this concept at all. This concept is completely belonging and originated by ICT, so I would recommend going and checking out his channel. I might actually put a card, I might actually put a subscription block at the bottom so that you can go ahead and check out his stuff. He does really great videos on how to do OTA. I kind of just specialize in condensing them a little bit and expanding on them a little bit. So yeah, and then so some people enter into the 0.705. Personally, if you're gonna wait until then, I would say, yeah, this is exactly, this is the latest you should wait to enter. I mean, some people wait to the 0.79 just so that they can get a really small stop loss. I mean, you can do that. Let me tell you what I personally do. If I'm actually trading this, let me tell you what I actually do. I'll let it come down here. I won't set a buy limit for 0.62. I'll actually just wait, right? Because sometimes it comes in a little strong. Right? I'll actually buy. I'll start buying, and I'll put in a market execution when I see it changing directions. If I see it changing directions, especially or like this in a zigzag, or if it's just shooting up really, really quickly, and I start seeing it move up really quickly, rampantly, like from right here or from here or from here even, I'll start getting in, and I'll set my stop loss down here. So sometimes I don't get the best risk to reward ratio, but I just find that it makes it a lot more helpful for me, just because sometimes if you place a buy limit right here, right, and this, I'm visibly seeing the currency pair come down really strong, right? There's no point in me just losing that money, where I could just wait and see what happens, right? So that personally helps me. Okay, so now we've discussed the fib, we've discussed the entry points. Let's talk about exit points on the fib, right? Sorry about that. Okay, here it is. Let's talk about exit points. Okay, so you have the entry points here. Here's your stop loss right here. This is where you should just put your stop loss. Okay, but what about exit points? So here are my rules. It also depends on how far I think this currency pair can go. Like, if I think this currency pair is gonna moon, if I think it's gonna really shoot up, I am probably gonna leave once it hits. So let's say it comes like this, then enters in here within the time block, right, and takes off. Once it hits the 0 level, I'll move my stop loss to wherever I entered, so I'm at break even, right? So my stop loss will come from here to here. So let's say it snaps back down after it hits the 0. I don't lose any money, right? That happens, you know, a good amount of times, especially in the NY session, just because a lot of the daily reversals happen within the NY session. This rarely happens in the London session. The London session is really good, especially recently. And even today's video is going to be on, the example I'm going to show you guys is going to be on London's video, or a London session. But anyway, so here is, so let's say it gets to 0. I move my stop loss to the 0.62, right? Then let's say it comes down a little bit and then moves up here. It doesn't hit my break even. It just keeps going up. Hits the negative 0.5. Personally, and I say this personally, I kind of just leave it here, especially if I think it's going to move, right? And you know, because I don't want it to come. I've seen this happen to me way too often, where I start, and once it hits the negative 0.5, I'll move it up to this level, and then it'll just snap back down here, but then moon. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. I'd rather just, I mean, what's the point of me making, like, what is this? Like, come on, it's like half, it's like maybe 2 pips at best or something. So what's the point? I might as well have just made nothing. So I'm gonna keep it here. I'll typically wait. I'll wait to move I'll wait to move my stop loss to the 0 level after, or 0 level after. Actually, no, this is more than 2 pips. What am I talking about? This could be, there's a couple pips, but it's not that much money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to just make from 0.62 to 0. I'm trying to make from 0.62 to negative 2 most times. You know, but obviously sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. So what I'll do is I'll actually wait until it gets to negative 1 to this level before I'll move my stop loss up to 0, right? Because then what's the likelihood, I mean, you know, of it, I mean, it's a good likelihood it'll come all the way back down there. But I mean, at that point, I'm like, okay, if it's gonna really reverse, it might start, you know, reversing heavy. And then I'll wait, and then once it gets to negative 1.5, then I'll maybe to move it up to here, and once it gets to negative 2, then I'll move the stop loss up to here, right? And that's how I like to do it, just because, you know, it's those early reversals happen quite often, and usually they're not that much to worry about, and you get stopped out for no reason, and then you're like, oh, I should have just held it. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna make that much money anyway. And so that's kind of how I do it. So let's go over an example for today, shall we? So in the last video, we talked about this imbalance on the EURUSD right here that was like from here all the way down to here. This candle has now come up to fill that imbalance. Whippy, right? We were correct in our analysis. Congratulations, everybody. All right, and so now that the candlestick has almost filled this imbalance, it's something to be cognizant of. I still think that we could get a continual push upwards, just because you can see that we had this trend line just broken, right? This trend line broken to the upside. We had a break and a tap back onto the trend line and a strong push up, which means that I think we're going to go bullish for a long time. Where the dollar is just going to continue to weaken, right? And so we got this mini, you know, fake out where it kind of broke this trend line, and so maybe coming back down to tap this place again. That's what I thought might have happened, but it looks like we're ready to continue upwards, because if you look on the daily, you have this 4-pin reversal right here. I talked about in the last video as well. 4-pin reversal. Oh, sorry, 3-pin. What am I talking about? 3-pin reversal, which is this candlestick ends right here, then this one ends right here, and then this one ends right here, right? So it's up, down, up, like a V shape. That shows reversal according to ICT. That is an ICT concept that I actually personally use, which is really, really wonderful. And it also does the same thing on the 4-hour. If you look at these candles right here too, 1, 2, 3, reversal, right? Okay, you got this break of this candle, of this trend line right here, which retapped it. If you kind of drag this out, basically kind of retapped it, started heading upwards. We now created, look at this, right? So we created this low, this high, lower high, higher low, higher high, right? So we're going up, down, up, right? So that is exactly how I know, and that's one of my favorite things to see, where I know we're really, really heading upwards now. That's an upward, you know, that's an upward trajectory where you got kind of like this, you know, this channel going like this, you know what I mean? And so really it should look like this. You kind of got this channel going on, right? Low, high, lower, high, higher low, higher high. I don't know why I always mess that up. It's kind of like a tongue twister. You know, try and say higher high or a lower high or higher low 5 times in a row really quickly. And so we're heading up. We're heading upwards. And so that leads me to now go down to the 1 hour. Let's just check out any smart money moves. Actually, let's point out. Yeah, let's point out any smart money moves, right? That we need to be cognizant of. Got this big sell-off, right? This looking institutional candle, but got mitigated immediately by the wick of this candle. Even the wicks of these candles came back into this big institutional candle right here. We can look at an institutional candle here as well, right? But this got mitigated by this candle, and this candle also came into this bullish sellish sell-off as well. So it's nothing to really worry about, right? And so we're just heading upwards. It's plain and simple. Something else to be mindful of is this level of support right here, right? This very strong level of support where we got this big sell-off. You just be mindful of that. Typically, the currency pair, you know, once it breaks above this again, it'll like to come back and tap this level, which you can see happen here and here, which I think is actually going to be the source of our OTE entry today, where it's going to be around that level. And so you can see that the currency pair came back and tapped this exact level around here before kind of like, you know, now it's kind of consolidating, but this is happening in the NY session. This big boom happened actually in the London session. That's going to be our OTE trade for today, but we got to go into the lower time frames. So let's head all the way to the 5 minute. We've established we're pretty bullish. If you don't think we're bullish, I'd actually like to, I mean, I'm very interested to see why you would think we're not bullish, because I really can't see how we're not bullish. So, you know, go ahead and send me your comments below and tell me why you don't think we're bullish. But I mean, it's pretty obvious we're damn bullish on this currency pair, especially with the fundamentals underlying that the dollar is going to continue to weaken, right? And so let's do it first things first. Let's just, so this is going to be the London session we're going to focus on. London session is from, let's say, 1 a.m. So that's 1300. Whenever I see 1300, I think of the military immediately. I don't know why. Am I stupid? It's not 1300. I'm stupid. Sorry, guys. Very stupid of you, Chyke. It's from 1, actual 1. So I'm in the States, man. So I get really confused by this hundreds, and like I said, it makes me think of the military, and I really don't want to go to war. So, okay. So let's look at this today. Interestingly enough, we actually have 2 optimal trade entries. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go over it. So this is 8:30. This is 1 to 5 a.m. Okay, what trade would we have been looking at here? Personally, you know, you can see kind of this action right here, and so it's a little, you know, you might be a little confused prior. But I like to see very, very obvious entries, very obvious. And if you look here, maybe, I mean, anyway, just ignore all the action here. This is just really not relevant. I don't even want to go over stuff in there. But you see this big move, you know, got some Asian consolidation, and then you see this tank downwards once you come to London session. Once I started seeing this tank downwards, I look at the higher time frame, not higher time frame, I'm looking at the bigger picture here. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe from this past low, this is where we're coming from. So you draw your fib all the way to the high, which is right here, this high right here. Maybe drag this out a little bit, and you can see it hits exactly the 0.62 level. And notice how it's also around that level where the resistance, or where the support was, the resistance level was, right? Notice how it also came back and retapped that area. You see how it kind of went up here and then retapped that area? That's double confluence, right? A double, you know, confirmation that this is going to be a fire trade, in my opinion. All right, so it hits the 0.62 level. From here, would have entered once I started seeing this really large spike, got in, stop loss is right here, right? Hits the 0 level. Once it hit the 0 level, I would have moved my stop loss all the way to the 0.62. So now I'm break even, right? And look, we actually get a second entry, where you go from this low all the way to this high. And look, it hits the 0.79 level. You see, it starts coming down really quickly which is why I wouldn't enter until I'm really seeing a pullback upwards, because or a pretty obvious pullback upwards, which happened here within the same 5 minute, where it just like kind of snapped down here, touched the 0.79. That's how you know these levels are really relevant. Look how it just tapped the 0.62, it just tapped the 0.79, and a lot of times you'll see it just tap the 0.705. That's how you know this stuff really is relevant. It's really important. I'm actually not very sure how ICT got those exact levels. He's kind of a genie himself, but the 0.62 level just got tapped. The 0.79 level just got tapped. Almost exact pinpoint tapping, right? It's what we call sniper. Pew pew pew, right? So you see this tap right here, reversal. I would have got in once I started seeing it move up really strong. Probably get some really good risk to reward ratio. It never hit the 0 level, so I probably it got pretty close, so I probably would have set this to break even already. Sometimes it does that, so I probably would have got stopped out on this trade just when it hit break even, so wherever I had break even at, but I still would have been in that other trade, which is why I like having 2 trades sometimes, because you kind of just have one in if the other one gets hit at break even. So that other one, if I got at the 0.62 level, would still be in, right? And so it looks like we're just consolidating a little bit coming into the NY. Hopefully in this NY session, maybe we get another big push up. And so you can see it just, we're at a higher time frame. This -2 level could definitely get hit, assuming it doesn't tank back down and hit, our stop loss or our break even. But this has been a wonderful example, in my opinion, of OTE and the best Forex strategy ever. All right, let me know if you guys want me to make any other type of videos, if you guys want me to discuss anything else in my videos. I really appreciate how much support you guys are giving me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. You guys stay blessed. We evolve in 2021. Peace and love, people.